Hey there, English speakers. Jesse here. And as always, gotta turn down the volume. So, how are you? Welcome. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Today is Friday. I think it's the 14th of October 2016. How are you? How was your week? Did you have a good week? I had a pretty good week. Here in Spain, on Wednesday, it was what we call a bank holiday. So we had a day off. We had a day off on Wednesday, which is always a nice thing when you have a day off. You can sleep in and you can do other things that you can't do when you have to go to work. So that was nice. That was fun. I ended up just resting a lot. I worked a little bit, posted some video things, did some online work, but I had a good day off. How about you? What do you like to do on your days off? What do you like to do on your days off? Let me know. Let me know below. So, it looks like the video has a strong feed right now, which is always good. And we're on a roll. All right, we're going. I think we're figuring this out. Little by little, we are figuring this out. But, so yeah, I had a good week. We had a day off. And I slept in. Actually, I have a little baby daughter, so I didn't really sleep in. But it was good anyway. So I apologize if I sound a little cloudy, I sound a little different. It's because I'm a bit under the weather. Which means I'm feeling a little bit sick. Nothing too major, we can say. Nothing too major. That's another expression. But I'm feeling a little under the weather. I have a bit of an upset stomach, and my head is a bit cloudy. Not for normal reasons it's cloudy, but it's a bit cloudy because I'm a bit under the weather. I'm a little under the weather. Under the weather. If you're under the weather, it means that you're sick. If you're a bit under the weather or a little under the weather, you're a little sick. And so I'm a bit under the weather. I have an upset stomach. My head is cloudy. And so I thought that I'd teach you in this opening part some expressions, some ways to express being sick or not feeling well. So some things you can say, I wrote them down in case I didn't remember, but to be under the weather. I'm under the weather. Are you under the weather? Is he under the weather? Oh, I hope he feels better. Another way, I'm not feeling very well. If you call in work, I'm sorry, I'm not feeling very well. I can't come in today. Have you ever done that? Have you ever faked being sick? Have you ever faked being sick so you didn't have to go to work or so you could do something fun? That's not going on right now. I really don't feel well, but I don't feel very bad. Especially once I started this video lesson, I suddenly got a lot of energy. I got a surge of energy. A surge is like an electrical current. Like a surge of power means a lot of electricity going to a place. So if you have a surge of energy, you suddenly get a lot of energy and you feel better. That happened to me, so thank you. What other? Another thing that I wanted to mention, the word ill. In my classes, I hear the word ill a lot. Oh, this person is ill. they're ill. It may be more used in British English, but in American English, an illness is generally used with more serious things. If you have an illness, it's more of a long-term, a bigger problem. So we normally just use the word sick, at least in American English. So when was the last time you were sick? Are you sick right now? Are you feeling bad? Are you not feeling very well? Are you a bit under the weather? Well, join me. We can be under the weather together, and we can study together, and misery loves company, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Doesn't it? There's a question tag. And that brings us to our lesson. Let's jump right into the lesson because I just used a question tag. Misery loves company, doesn't it? Today's lesson is on question tags. Question tags. And this is a part of my Fluency series, my Fluency Training Series, where I take little parts of the language that we use that is just a little detail, but if you put it in the correct place and use it correctly, it can make a gigantic difference in making you sound and become more fluent. The last fluency training lesson, if you remember, was on sentence starters. Do you remember what some sentence starters are? Things like, basically, actually, I mean, well, you know, things like that. Transition from nothing into a smooth transition into your sentence. Now, that is about how to start a sentence. Today, we're going to learn how to finish a sentence fluently. Sound good? It does sound good. So, we're talking about question tags today. And I'm going to talk about a few different parts of question tags. You probably have already studied question tags. It's kind of a basic, lower intermediate kind of lesson. You probably have studied them, but there are some important details to consider when using question tags. So I wrote some basic question tags here. Question tags, by the way, there's a connector. Question tags are a small question at the end of a statement to either to make a question or to confirm something that you think is true. But either way, it's a way to engage the other person and involve the other person into your conversation. So they're a very good tool to use. So basically, the format is you have your basic sentence. And then you will probably have a comma followed by the question tag. A simple rule of thumb, and a rule of thumb means a general guideline. It's not a 100% thing, but a general guideline to go by is if the sentence is positive, the question tag will be negative. So if I said, misery loves company, doesn't it? Misery loves. Loves is a positive. It's an affirmative sentence. That's what I mean by positive, not the meaning, because misery loves company isn't a very positive feeling. But we're talking about just the language here. Misery loves. Loves is a positive, an affirmative verb. Misery loves company, doesn't it? So the question tag is negative. The other We also use it if the sentence is negative, the question tag is positive. Exactly. The question tag is positive. Misery doesn't really like company, does it? Misery doesn't really like company, does it? You're not confused right now, are you? You're confused right now, aren't you? So, that's a general rule to go by. If the sentence is positive, the question tag is negative. If the sentence is negative, the question tag is positive. Let's look at some examples of question tags. This is a list of some question tags, but it's not at all of the question tags. I just wrote some common ones to give you an idea. Really, any auxiliary verb. Auxiliary verbs meaning are or to be, have. There goes my cloudy brain forgetting the other one. But do, do, don't they? Also modal verbs like can, they can be used as question tags, like can you or can't you? You can speak English, can't you? You can speak English, can't you? Basically, there I go again. Basically, any question word or auxiliary verb or question the main verb, well, not the main verb, but basically the auxiliary verbs or modal verbs are used in question tags. So we have things like is it and isn't it, the positive for the negative sentence and the negative for the positive sentence. You're on fire today. I know you were following me. I know you were. Does it? Doesn't it? Are they for the plural of is it? Are they? No, that's a common thing. If your verb is plural or if your subject is plural, you want to use the plural question tags. They aren't my shoes, are they? They aren't my shoes, are they? We'll look at the intonation next. Do they? Don't they? Can you? Can't you? And it just goes on from there. Like I said, the auxiliary verbs, modal verbs, these are all ways that you can use with your question tags. Let's look at some examples. And since examples are so difficult to think of on the spot means right in the moment, right now, on the spot. Or another expression is off the top of my head. They're very difficult to, examples are difficult to think of off the top of your head. Off the top of your head means immediately, right now. But they are, so I wrote some examples here to share with you. And if I can think of other examples, I'll add those too. But if you meet somebody and you say, you're from England, aren't you? So that means something a little different than, you're from England, aren't you? Note the intonation. You're from England. There are two types of intonations. One is this, you're from England, aren't you? Or, you're from England, aren't you? You try it with me. You're from England, aren't you? Again, you're from England, aren't you? And again, you're from England, aren't you? You're from England, aren't you? Let's do our example from earlier. Misery loves company, doesn't it? That doesn't really sound proper. That doesn't sound correct. So what we would say in that case, misery loves company, doesn't it? Misery loves company, doesn't it? The basic way, this is a way to show that intonation and pronunciation is important, and it's important in conveying the meaning that you want to share. Intonation is important because if the question tag goes up, doesn't it? That means that you're really asking a question. It's a legitimate question. You don't know the answer. Whereas if the intonation goes down, aren't you? Doesn't it? Don't they? This is you think you know the answer or you're sure you know the answer, and it's just kind of for confirmation. So if I meet someone and their accent sounds British, maybe they have a very British look, a British demeanor, they look very British, I can say, "You're from England, aren't you?" And that means that it looks like it, I think it, but it's a way to engage somebody else in your conversation. It's a way to sound a lot more fluent. So use your intonation. Practice this. Here in Spain, the common way to finish sentences is no. Like if I say, "You're from England, no?" "Misery loves company, no?" "You are a football player, no?" "You like football, no?" This is because in Spanish, that's how they say it. But in English, if you use question tags and you use them with the proper intonation, it will make you sound not only more fluent, but also more correct on your speaking exams or even general conversation, job interviews, anywhere where you have to use English. Question tags will make you go from this level to this level just with knowing this information and with using them. Let's look at some other examples. I imagine that you have studied question tags in your school, in your English education. Sometime in life you've studied question tags. You have studied question tags. What question tag would I put on there? You've studied question tags, haven't you? You've studied question tags, haven't you? That would be like if you say the correct answers, if we're in class or I'm talking to you, we're having a one-on-one lesson, which, by the way, you can sign up for a one-on-one Skype lesson on my italki page below. Click on the link and click on the promo link for a free gift. It's 100 italki credits, or it might be buy one lesson, get the next one free. Either way, it's a good deal, and Skype lessons are phenomenal because you get personalized attention and increase your speaking. You're speaking the entire time, so it's great. But if we're speaking and you seem to be using question tags very well and you know the answers, I know that you have experience with question tags. So I could say, "You've studied question tags before, haven't you?" You've studied question tags before, haven't you? Haven't you? You'll see me make note of intonation of question tags sometimes. If I do this or this in my videos, it's because I want to make note of the question tags. Since I'm promoting my italki page, I might as well say, don't forget to subscribe below if you haven't already. You do know how to subscribe, don't you? You know how to subscribe to YouTube, don't you? You know, it's 2016. You know how to subscribe to a YouTube channel, don't you? If you have a normal verb like know, you know how to subscribe to a YouTube channel. We don't really say know you. If we have an action word, the question tag word is don't you or do you. You don't know how to subscribe to a YouTube channel, do you? You don't have your own YouTube channel, or you don't have your own YouTube account, do you? You don't have your own YouTube account, do you? Because the verb know is an action verb. Action verbs get the question tag most of the time with do or don't. So these are some guidelines and some ways and tricks to help you increase your fluency, which will help a lot. How about, let's talk about the future. You're going to the concert this weekend. You're going to the concert this weekend. What question tag would you use? There's a big concert this weekend. You're going to that concert, aren't you? You're going to that concert, aren't you? Or, if I don't know, you're going to that concert, aren't you? You're going to that concert, aren't you? Aren't you? I don't know. Aren't you? I do know. And you are. And be safe and have fun. My hometown is Chaddsford, Pennsylvania. You've probably never heard of it. You've probably never heard of it. What question tag could I use there? My hometown is Chaddsford, Pennsylvania. You've probably never heard of it. You have probably never makes that negative. You've probably never heard of that. Have you? Have you? Normally I would say confirmation because you probably haven't heard about Chaddsford, Pennsylvania. But if you have, I would love to hear from you. That would be amazing. So definitely let me know if you have heard or even been to Chaddsford, Pennsylvania. It's actually, see how much we use these fluency markers? It's actually a very historic place and was home to very important battles in our history. So if you go there, be sure to check out the different museums. By the way. Be sure to check out the different museums and battlefields and things like that. It's a beautiful area, but it's not very well known. So you probably haven't heard of Chaddsford, Pennsylvania, have you? Okay, so this was a nice, short, sweet lesson to get your question tags, to get you familiar and get you re-familiar with using question tags and knowing them on a deeper level. Because they're the kind of thing, and it's important to use because question tags are kind of a thing that most students and you probably know about, but you may not use them very much. But we use them a lot, and it really makes your fluency jump to the next level. Let's turn around and look at our assignment this week. First of all, let's see who's watching. Okay, let's look at your assignment this week. Your assignment is simple. I'm going to give you a series of questions with blank question tags, and I want you to write the question tags. And I'd also like you to indicate whether you would probably put the intonation up or the intonation down. For example, she's French. What would the question tag be, and what would your intonation sound like? This is the train to New York. The bank doesn't open on Sundays. He eats meat. You can speak English. You're going to this concert this weekend. Well, or you're going to the concert this weekend. So a simple assignment this week, and you shouldn't have a problem with it. It's simple, basic, but let me turn you back around. But the point is to get you to practice these. The more you practice them, as with anything, with an instrument, with a sport, with a skill, with art, with language, absolutely, with everything, the more you actually use it and practice it in real situations that actually mean something to you, the more you use these and practice them, the more you'll perfect it, especially if you do it in your English class, and then your teacher can tell you if you're saying them correctly and using them correctly. But the more you use them, the more familiar they will become to you, and the more they will become a part of you, and the more English will become a part of you. Okay, let's look at questions and comments in case we have that. Let's look at this, and then besides that, after this, we're done. Good news is our live stream has kept healthy and strong this whole time, which is a good thing. It's always a good thing. Any comments, questions? None today. Facebook? And nope. There we have it. Another Friday lesson in the books. That's what we say. Another Friday lesson in the books. That means it's finished. It's done. We've done another one. You can go to YouTube and watch this immediately, but also throughout the week. I chop the videos up into smaller pieces and put subtitles in at key points in the video. So make sure you keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for that. Also, if you do find these useful, share them. Share them with others so we can grow and I can make more videos and more lessons. And that would be a great thing. So other than that, have a fantastic weekend. Have a fantastic week next week. I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.